Welcome to Becoming Limitless. This is the podcast for entrepreneurs who want to optimize their brain and their body with biohacking. I'm going to teach you how to eliminate brain fog and upgrade your health so you can have more productivity, energy, and growth in your business. I'm your host, Tanessa Shears. Let's jump in. Welcome back to the Becoming Limitless podcast. We are on episode number 9, and this is going to be a fun one today. We are talking about how to biohack your brainwaves for super focus. I'm actually going to teach you how you can use your brainwaves and the mental state you want to be in to your advantage to not only get more productive while you work, but more relaxed while you relax, have better sleep. I am so excited. I am sharing an app today that I have stumbled across that has truly changed the way that I work. And I'm so excited to jump into that with you today. So it was interesting. I actually used this app that I'm going to be telling you about today to biohack my brainwaves when I actually sat down to write the notes out, like the episode notes, so that, I had a guideline for what I was going to say today. I put the app on, all right? So I sat down to write the notes and I plugged the app in. It is an audio app, so I plugged it into my headphones and I started writing out the notes for this show at 11:50 a.m. and it was a Saturday. And I had pretty much just come off of finishing literally 3 hours of laundry. When you have everything to do. There's sheets, there's baby clothes, there's lights, there's darks, there's towels, everything. I was doing laundry for 3 hours and tidying the house. So my brain was really not in work mode, but I had an hour and a half to work while my daughter went down for a nap. And I had a project of getting 6 podcasts outlined done, and I had an hour and a half to work towards that. And when I sat down at my desk, I was feeling very scattered. And the interesting thing is, since having my daughter, I have had to compress a business into the time she sleeps and the time she naps. So I do get a bit of time that my mom helps me out with her a couple days in the weeks while I do my clients. But for the most part, I get all my work done before she wakes up at 8 a.m. and I get an hour and a half to 2 hour chunk during the day. So the fantastic thing is, with the assistance of this app and so many of the other biohacks we've been covering on the podcast, I've actually been able to compress all of my work for my business and keep it up and running into literally just those hours while my daughter's asleep. So it can truly show you how much productivity can actually have an impact on the amount of work you can get done. So when I say I help people get done more in a day than most people get done in a week, it's because of not only the apps and the tips and the tools that I have, but the strategies that I have learned as of becoming a mom. And I've learned what it takes to take a full business and compress it down. I have to get stuff done. I don't have the option of full days working on my business anymore. And because of that, I've been actually pretty grateful because it has made me super productive. So we're back and I just finished off all the laundry and I was feeling really scattered. My mind was flitting to things like, we were thinking about the SUV we're planning to purchase this week. Is my baby falling asleep yet? Is she napping? Is my phone charging? There's emails I need to respond to. So when I sat down to do this project of an hour and a half of time spent planning my podcast episodes, I was just all over the place. So I plugged in this app and I went to work. So that was at 11:50 a.m. The next time I felt like I surfaced and I looked up again, it was at 1:17 p.m. And I had gotten 4 full episodes written out in just under an hour and a half. But that was the equivalent of over 17 pages of notes written on Google Docs. And I felt really good about that because if you've ever prepared for something, whether it be a presentation or a speech or a podcast interview or a workshop, it takes a lot of research and a lot of focus and searching for client examples and stories to make the podcast that I share with you relevant and interesting. And I've got 4 of them done in this amount of time. And it felt like 30 minutes. And I literally looked up and my alarm went off and I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to get the baby. So what I'm going to teach you today not only makes time fly, but it makes you super productive with the time that you do have. So we're going far beyond white noise and beach sounds today. We're talking about how to biohack your brain waves for super focus. Now, specifically what I'm going to be teaching you today is actually how to alter your brainwaves to achieve the states that you want faster. And when I say states, I mean like focus or relaxation or meditation or sleep. we're going to be using a strategy that's actually going to help you get there faster. So if we look at actually what a brainwave is, brainwaves are measured in a unit called a hertz, which basically means how many brain waves a second, all right? So depending on how fast or how slow our brain waves are, it determines kind of what mental state we are in. So for example, if your brain is in beta brainwave state, you are likely highly concentrated, you have a sense of alertness, you are doing deep thinking. But if we have too much beta, we often go to anxiety or fear, and that's often called high beta. So I want you to think of being in beta as like flow state, extreme focus, the exact state you want to be in when you really need to get stuff done. And for those of us that are really sciencey minded and you want to know the nitty gritty, it's between 14 and 30 hertz. That's the frequency when your brain, the brain waves are in beta. Contrasting to that, you have alpha brain waves. So this is from about 8 to 13.9 hertz, these brain waves. So when you are in an alpha brainwave state, you are relaxed. Your focus is relaxed. It might even feel like a light trance. Maybe right before you fall asleep or right before you wake up, your focus is super, what's the word for it? Like super relaxed. And maybe you might even be doing some meditation. So this is alpha brainwave state. And that's the opposite of beta, where beta is very focused and concentrated. Alpha is relaxed and unfocused, but in a good way, the kind that kind of makes you relax. Now, there's also two different kind of brainwaves. Theta is from 4 to 7.9 hertz when you're looking at your brain waves. And we experience theta when we're dreaming or experiencing REM sleep. That's rapid eye movement, right? It contributes a lot to memory and creativity, your emotions, behavior change, all the good things that come with REM sleep. And the last one I'm going to tell you about today is delta wave sleep. So you've probably heard of this before, actually. It's 0.1 to 3.9 hertz. So it's a really, really slow wave. It's dreamless sleep. It's that deep sleep that you get into that allows your body to recover, because human growth hormone, the hormone that helps us have strong muscles and strong bones, that's released during delta wave sleep. It's almost like being in a deep trance. You are completely unaware of what's going on around you. You have no physical awareness. You've lost the connection with your body. So almost think of like, you know, those people that say like, I can sleep through anything. A truck could go by and it wouldn't wake me up. These people are likely in delta wave sleep. So just so that we know exactly what we're talking about, beta is highly focused. Alpha is very relaxed. Theta is dreaming, and delta is deep sleep. And what we're going to be doing today is talking about how we can use something called brainwave entrainment to achieve whatever state we want on demand. Meaning, if you need to get a bunch of work done, and it's very important, we need to be able to get your brain into beta brainwaves, that highly concentrated focused state, faster so that we don't waste any time. And today, we're talking about how to do that using external stimuli. So basically, when I say external stimuli, I just mean things that aren't being generated from within our body. They are being generated outside of our body. So kind of like examples might be like pulsed electromagnetic frequencies, if you've heard of that. Sometimes visual elements will do it. And we can also use sound to synchronize our brain's electrical activity. Now, I want to explain to you what brainwave entrainment actually means, because there's probably a good chance you've never heard of it before, but it is going to be a concept that will blow your mind. I remember when I first learned it, I was like, how have I not known about this before? How do more people not know about this? So basically, the concept of brainwave entrainment means that the brain changes the frequency of its brainwaves depending on what it was exposed to. So I'm going to say that again. The brain changes the frequency of its brainwave depending on what it was exposed to. So, for example, if it is exposed to something faster in part of that external stimuli, your brain waves have actually been shown that they can speed up to match that. The neat thing is when our brain waves actually, when we go through this entrainment process, when our brain waves like to sync with some external stimuli, the left and right side of our brain start communicating much more effectively. Normally, our left and right side of our brains, they have their own jobs, and there is not a lot of crossover. But what happens is when we are using brainwave entrainment, we are trying to sync our brainwaves to some external stimuli, more communication happens. This essentially allows you to enter your desired state of consciousness quicker. Now, I will say, with what I'm going to share with you today, it works a lot better with headphones. You can listen to it on speakers, but having personally tried it and with the evidence or the anecdotal evidence of clients that I've worked with, it works a lot better with headphones. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be talking to you today about the 2 ways that we can use sound to enter the desired state we want quicker. So method number 1 is actually using something called binaural beats. Binaural beats. What this essentially means is that there is 2 tones that are very close in frequency that are played together, but one is in each ear. So for example, if you had a tone at 480 hertz playing in one ear and 490 hertz played in the other ear, there's a 10 hertz difference between 490 and 480. So what this does is it cancels out to have that remaining 10 hertz tone. So if we remember when we talked about the different types of brainwaves, remember we had beta, alpha, theta, delta, 10 hertz, the difference between 490 and 480 is actually the same as an alpha brainwave. So if we were to put on binaural beats with 480 in one ear and 490 in the other ear, the resulting tone would be 10 hertz, which falls into the range of alpha. This would actually allow us to feel relaxed and just like kind of like that state of meditation, light focus. So this is great. And the great thing is you don't just have to play 2 tones into your ears, like one into one in the other. It can be embedded into music as well, instead of just listening to 2 tones. So binaural beats are effective, but I have actually found a way of using sound and a specific app that I'm going to share right now that's actually even more effective than binaural beats. And it is an app that I have downloaded called Brainwaves. I'm going to leave a link in the description so that you can check that out. But Brain FM is essentially an app that uses artificial intelligence, so AI, to generate sound. And it has a patented technology that uses something called neural phase locking, the patented way they use the sound that gets your brainwaves to sync with the underlying oscillations that they have in the music. So say in the background of the music, they have used note bots to generate a frequency of, let's say, 18 hertz. That's right in concentration and beta. And it allows your brain to sync with it very quickly. It basically influences your brain waves into a desired state. So essentially, like, this app is so good. Every client I recommended it to, it has helped them with. So for example, if you open the app, you get to choose what state you want your brain to be in. The options, they give you 4 options at this point. One of them is sleep. One of them is meditation. One of them is to relax. And one of them is to focus. So essentially, when I go to sit down and do any work, obviously work that is needing me to be focused, I open the app and I select focus and I select the amount of time that I want to focus for. And I turn on that track. And like while I was writing the notes for this episode, as I was telling you, I was listening to the focus one. Specifically, they have like so many different options. So you can listen to beach, forest, rain, classical music, waves, electronic, like all those kind of things. So I was listening to the focused electronic track, and I have found from personal experience, it takes about 10 minutes to start working. So I'm working away and I can feel my brain flitting to the, remember I was saying like the laundry and is my baby napping and what are we doing about the SUV this week? Is that an email that's come in? I can feel my brain feel kind of disorganized and unfocused. And then I put this music in and in about 10 minutes, it's almost as if all that is faded away. And I always like to give the example. It kind of almost feels like I have flames shooting out the back of my brains because I'm going so quickly. Like it feels like I am completely zeroed in by about 10 minutes in. So without the app, I've actually found that, it can take me up to 20 minutes to get completely focused. And even then, I'm easily distracted by sounds and emails coming in, and my brain remembers something I didn't do earlier today. And this really helps me dial in and engage in that state of flow and focus in a hyper quick way. And it has really helped me compress what used to get I used to be like a 40-hour a week work week into about 20 hours with my baby now. And I give a lot of credit to this. One of the other really neat things about Brain FM specifically is they integrate something into their music called 3D spatialization, and it creates the illusion that music is coming from the space around you. So instead of just having, music in your right headphone and your left headphone, it might be coming, from behind you or out in front to the right, which is a very, very cool experience if you've never actually had the chance to listen to something that projects sound. But basically, I either just plug it in on my app and then put my headphones in, or I just open the web browser version of it. So I always have it handy, and I really enjoy using it. If you want actually a very cool example of what I mean by that 3D spatialization of music, there was a really cool track that was actually sent to me. It's on YouTube. It's a type of music called 8D music. Instead of, like 3D, it's 8D. And I will leave a link to it in the description, but it's basically an audio pentatonics version of a Billie Eilish song. And it was the neatest thing. Like, you put this on and it has to be in headphones. Like, I highly recommend, if one thing from this podcast, go check out what 8D music sounds like. So I would put my headphones in, and you can literally feel the music circling your head. It is the most bizarre experience. Like, you're just sitting there and then all of a sudden you're like, whoa, the music's behind me. I can feel it in the back of my skull. Now it's way out in front of me. Now it sounds like I'm in a big warehouse. Now it sounds like I've got headphones on. Like, go check this out. I will leave a link. It's called the 8D Audio Pentatonics and Billie Eilish song. I don't know if it's a song or whoever made it, but it's so good. It's a YouTube link that I'll leave there. But it is so neat to feel when music is coming from outside of your head. It's really neat. So I want to share with you the 4 ways that I use audio and AI generated music to biohack my brainwaves to help me in my life. So the first way I use it is, like I said, when I need to work. I find that with my limited time, it is my responsibility to my business and my clients to be as effective as possible so I can spend more time with my daughter. I can get literally 2 times as much done when I'm using this Brain FM app on the focused soundtracks and the selection specifically than whether I just plug into a regular type of music or have no music on. So that's the way number 1 I use it. The way number 2 that I use this AI generated music is when I'm trying to relax, and specifically when I'm reading in bed, because part of my job is to make sure that my brain has calmed down before I go to sleep, because I want to be able to drift off into a peaceful, deep sleep, and I want to stay asleep. And I can't do that if my brain is thinking about everything I did today, everything I've got to do tomorrow, everything I didn't do. I really need my brain to be at peace. So I find that if I spend 15 to 30 minutes before I plan to turn my lights out at night, if I spend that time reading a fiction book specifically, if I put Brain FM in and I put it on the relax mode, I can feel myself completely unwind. And here's the crazy thing. I've done this while watching my heart rate on my Fitbit. My heart rate, I kid you not, drops to 49 beats per minute while reading and awake, not sleeping. Even my sleeping heart rate, usually the average of that falls to about anywhere between 54 and 55 beats per minute per night. But I am conscious, awake, and reading. And I put on the relax track, which takes my brain into alpha wave brainwave state. And my heart rate drops to 49. So just to give you a contrast, while I am at my desk right now recording this podcast episode, I've got my hands moving, I'm standing up, I'm full of energy. My heart rate is at 90 right now. When I am sitting watching a movie, it sits around 60. So for this app to allow my brain waves to become relaxed and unfocused and be able to fully unwind, my heart rate drops to 49 beats per minute. I am so relaxed. At the time I turn off my lights, I am off into la la land. Now, the third way, I did try using it while sleeping, but I don't have the proper headphones. So I haven't been able to fully execute as of right now on this method. So they do have a deep sleep mode, which allows your brain to sync with deep sleep waves, which are the really slow delta wave that you experience during deep sleep. So one thing is, if you're going to use this for deep sleep, I highly recommend you check out either on Amazon or, where would they sell it? I guess like directly on the website. The brand is called Sleep Phones, and they're headphones that are meant for lying down or sleeping. And I never knew these existed either. I have recommended to them to a couple of people who have actually really enjoyed them. But sleep phones specifically are, if you think of it, like those when you're going out in the snow, those winter headbands that go around your ears, like kind of like the ear warmers. Well, they essentially have a set of headphones that are built into the headband so that they go flush with your head and you're able to actually sleep on them. The people that I have recommended them to, like I said, absolutely love them. You can sleep with it on, and it really hasn't helped some of my clients fall asleep faster and stay asleep. The fourth and final way that I have used Brain FM is with my clients, specifically my clients that have had trouble falling asleep and my clients that have had trouble relaxing. So this works particularly well, like I said, for the clients that have, busy brains, always thinking, planning what we're doing in our business, what we have to do next. There's so much going on. So this really helps to quiet the mind and help them fall asleep. The second way, like I said, is to help my clients relax. So it is very important, as we know, to be able to take our body out of that fight or flight stress response that sometimes comes up in our day or in our job or when we're dealing with a stressful situation. So I had one client, and she was really trying to figure out a way to get that feeling of peace and calm back into her day. So we created something called alpha brainwave time, which we purposely intended to spend at least 30 to 60 minutes in alpha brainwave activity. And if you remember, that means relaxed, light focus, really generating that sense of inner peace. And this is one of the ways we had her do it. And there are a lot of ways to generate alpha brainwave time. You could be, relaxing, watching a movie. You could be going on a walk outside. You could be reading a book. It's anything where you're not having to think a lot. It's just kind of relaxed. But for her, she had trouble accessing what that would feel like. So by using this app, we were able to influence her brain into a relaxation state so we could get the process started for her and teach her brain that it had the capability to do that. So fascinating. It has worked very well for her. So if you have trouble relaxing, winding down, even if it's just in small pockets of time, like the 30 minutes you have between clients or, the 10 minutes you have before bed, this might be the solution that you're looking for. So we've reached the end of our Biohacking Your Brainwaves for Super Focused podcast. I have been looking forward to sharing this one because this has been a biohack that I would rank in the top 5 of biohacks that have had the most effect on my ability to actually get a lot of stuff done in a day. So if you've enjoyed this episode, I would love for you to leave a review. It means a lot to me, and it really lets me know what you learned. Like, don't forget to leave the review sharing what you learned, what you love about the podcast, and what you'd love to hear more of. Also, I'd love for you to come over to my Instagram at Tanessa Shears and let me know exactly how you felt after you slipped into alpha state or into beta state, if you got a lot done during it, or if you felt completely relaxed. I would be so excited to hear all about your experience. Don't forget, find me on Instagram, tag me at Tanessa Shears, let me know that you're listening in, and I will talk to you next week. Bye. Ready to begin each day feeling energized and focused? I'd love to work with you one-on-one. In my Becoming Limitless program, you're going to learn how to optimize your brain and body with science and biohacking so you can be highly productive and grow your business faster. Join me over at TanessaShears.com/work with me. I'll see you there.